Com here at Atascocita High School. Thanks for taking time out of your summer schedule. This is always kind of the lightest meeting we have, but we've got some really great speakers today. I want to thank those of you that have come out. Make sure you get something to eat, and so we'll go ahead and get started. And if you would all rise, we'll say our pledges real quick. We'll start with the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. At this time, I would like to ask Pastor Phil Harrington from Atascocita Community Church if he'd come up and give us our invocation.
Let's bow in prayer, please. Father, we want to thank you for an incredible day today, the beauty of the community, and thank you for this day that's a gift from you that we have to live, to breathe, and to enjoy. And thank you for the opportunity of connecting and talking with other members and people in our community. I'm grateful for this meeting, and I'm grateful for the process and what's happening and what this group of individuals do. Bless our food, Father, and let it nourish our bodies, give us strength, and help us today as we just talk about this community. We ask your blessings on the community, and let us be a part of something very special that happens in our community. In Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Let's see, before we start, dignitaries, I know State Rep Dan Huberty's here, and he'll be speaking to us shortly. I believe I saw Dr. Guy Sconza, our Superintendent of Schools. Yes, he's over by the food as normal. I believe one of my colleagues on the school board, Heath Rushing, is here. And did I miss anybody that came in? Nobody? Okay, because I always hate starting mentioning names and forget someone. So, okay, without further ado, our esteemed principal here at Atascocita High School, straight from Beaumont, Texas, after his first year, I've asked Mr. Bill Daniels to kind of give us a State of the Union address for Atascocita High School now that he's got 1 year under his belt, and we're expecting great things academically, athletically, and extracurricular-wise. So, Bill Daniels, principal at Atascocita High School.
Thank you and good morning. I walked in here and felt like I needed to get my walkie-talkie and go on duty when there's people sitting in here. And typically in this cafeteria, this part and the front part, we do 3 lunches, and each lunch has 1,000 or more students in it. So it's not boring. I'll put it that way. When I first got hired here, and when you first get hired anywhere, and I was at a school, one of the things you have to establish and you have to understand is how does your vision of schools match up with the vision that when you talk to them about a job, you have to tell them, these are my core values, this is what I believe, and this is what I want a school to be. And mine has always been unwavering. I have always said that schools are not defined by their success on a single test or set of tests. They define themselves based on excellence in 4 areas. And those areas are academics, athletics, fine arts, and involvement. We want every kid involved. Academics is a way many children succeed and become successful and move forward. Athletics is certainly another avenue for some students. Fine arts is that way, and involvement often saves lives. When I walked into this building, you must then assess, based on that vision, what structures are in place to support that, and what structures need to be added to support that. So, in many cases, the structures were here. We simply changed some threshold and raised the expectations on all students. Students responded well. Students almost always respond well. Sometimes adults are a little slower. That's okay too, as I often tell the staff and the students, change, positive change, is a little bit like antibiotics. Sometimes you don't want to take it, But 2 or 3 rounds in, often an infection can be cured. And so we continue to persevere with change. In many occupations, in many careers, when you go home and say, today was a hard day, you mean it was not a good day. That is not usually true for me in education. Hard and bad are nowhere near synonymous. Sometimes you must do hard things, but they are good things. Sometimes you have easy days, but that does not make them a good day. For me to stand here and tell you that having come from a well-established school with a well-established culture and climate to a school that, at least in my estimation, was not that way, was an easy year, I would lie. It was a hard year. My first semester in general was one of the hardest I've had I've been in education since 1984. At this time last year, I was commuting an hour and a half a day, one way, hour and a half here, hour and a half back to Beaumont. Now I own a house. My wife is now here. I have brought the grandchildren over. The oldest grandchild is now in band camp on this campus as we speak, and hopefully she'll get some good sleep tonight. Okay. Our push this year, last year was about going in and establishing the structure we felt we needed to make sure we had order within the school. That succeeded, certainly better than I expected, but not up to my expectations. The second year here is about academics and getting into the rooms and seeing exactly what we need to do to help these teachers succeed in their mission. Because many, many times, educators in general have no real tools that they need in how to teach. Many times, elementary teachers know how to teach. They don't know as much about the absolute subject. And as you go higher, high school calculus teachers know lots about math. Sometimes they don't have the tools they need to be able to get it across to all the students. Our push this year is to assess that in a greater degree, provide the teachers with the tools they need to be able to reach all students and to develop lessons that way. To that end, we will certainly be in the rooms much, much more than we were last year. In addition, we are going to continue the things we started last year, such as fan buses. We have money and we use fan buses. We take anybody that wants to go to an away game, we take them on the fan bus. We get the bus for them and they go. We had a young man last year who had never been to a football game. He was in a wheelchair. He went to football games. Our staff drove the wheelchair bus. He got to go. We certainly did that for all those. We have pep rallies for academics. We have pep rallies for athletics. We have pep rallies for spring sports. Our pep rallies, if you'd like to come, check in at the front. We'll scan your driver's license. And you may certainly go in there and watch a pep rally. We start at the end of the building with the drum line. Everybody's lining the halls. As the drum line comes down drumming, we fall in behind them. And we go to the gym and we celebrate what we hope is success. In addition, we are celebrating academic success or fine art success. Anybody we've got that is going to a state level contest who has been successful that way. During advisory on the Friday before they leave, we line up and we line these halls. And as they come down the halls, we all give them a very large round of applause for representing this school and this community that way. We want every single club that can get started to be started. Sometimes they'll come, sometimes they'll go. But the young man I had that came up to me that was stuttering very, very badly. He was shy. He wanted to start a chess club. We got a chess club. The kids that want to do video gaming, they do video gaming. It gets them involved. Because involvement in school often means you are committed to school. And secondly, our job here is also to teach them that they are part of something bigger than just themselves. They need to be able to belong to things, and that is a skill. Finally, we need them to build up good habits. Being on time is a habit. You need to build that up, and we do so. As I said, it was not an easy year, but it was certainly a very good year. I can't think of being anywhere else at this time. And I did get a call from Beaumont 2 days ago from a civic leader there asking me a question. I said, I'm not there. I don't work there anymore. And they said, yes, and we curse your name every day. Okay? And then, of course, they said, not really. But I have one of my ex-students actually working here now. He is teaching here now. I taught in the 8th grade. Are there any questions for me? I'm getting a 3-minute time. I tend to ramble sometimes. Please come by. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. Our students are great students. We've got big plans for them. Anything you would like to do to help us, we will certainly take it. And if you have money for me, that'd be great. We could use it. Okay? Any questions at all? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll get back to my question.
I tell you, if you haven't been to one of the pep rallies, take him up on the offer, check in at the front, and go. It is incredible. The band comes down through the hallways. The kids come behind them. I've attended several of those. It's an awesome event. And Mr. Daniels, you're doing a fantastic job. When Dr. Sconzo recommended you, everybody said, from Beaumont, really? You know? But you
from Orangefield. It's much smaller. It's not the same county. So.
But we appreciate you and thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate everyone in the community.
I failed to mention our sponsors for today, Artistic Stitches. Joan is here. Joan, would you like to say a few words?
Hi. Oh, whoops. There we go. Hi. I'm Joan Dantzler with Artistic Stitches. We do embroidery, screen printing, rhinestones, and vinyl designs, basically custom design apparel. And we've been in business for 14 years now. Our business started out in my daughter's 10 by 10 bedroom in her home while she learned the art of taking her graphic design education and background and learning to apply that to digitizing for embroidery machines. We've expanded every other year, it seems like, ever since then. And right now we're in a 5,000 square foot facility in the old Food City building over at Timber Forest in 1960. So if you come by, make sure that let someone know that you're with the Chamber and we'll get you a tour. In front of you, well, first of all, I wanted to tell you I'm modeling one of the newest thing in fashion vinyl. This is a glitter design done in multiple colors. I'm going to come up here so you can see. There you go. And it's the newest thing. And this particular material washes and wears absolutely beautifully. It's fairly new on the market in the last year, and colors just keep on coming out until we have a rainbow of colors available. So it's just one of the many techniques that we have that we can help you with. What sets our company aside from others that are in this business is that we have a graphic arts department with people who have been trained and graduated with degrees in graphic arts. And our graphic department is tremendous. They produce some of the best work around. And if you ever have an opportunity to experience that, I'm sure you'll agree. That's what sets us apart. For the most part, we do everything in-house. That's the other thing, except for our advertising specialty product line, which are things like your pins and cups and mugs and things like that. Those get done by the suppliers. But it's all available in one place, and we have a tremendous staff waiting to help you. My daughter Chris is taking over the business from me. I've been in this a long time. And so they've got kind of part-time hours. So in front of you, you'll see a little package like this. It has two business cards in it, mine and my daughter's. And so that if I'm not there, because I'm only there part-time, you can always talk to my daughter Chris. There's a coupon on the front. If you find that you can't really use that for your own business, pass it on to somebody who can, either for their business, their church, or their school, because there's a 50% discount on either designing or digitizing, the best part of our business in here, and we'll be happy to take care of them for you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. We've been members of the Chamber since 2000. So we've been here for a long time, and we love it. Thank you.
Just as a side note, in my last campaign, I had them do all of my shirts, all of my embroidered shirts. They did a fantastic job, so thank you very much. For our next speaker, this may be the hardest working man I've ever met. He runs a business, he runs a family. Well, that's questionable. Some say his wife runs all of it, but and he also was last year or two, a session ago, Freshman of the Year, Legislative Freshman of the Year, and he is doing a great, and I want to stress, great job for our community in Austin. I was fortunate enough to be elected on the school board to take his place when he was first elected to the State House, and he's been a mentor of mine, a friend of mine, and a friend of this community, our state rep, Mr. Dan Huberty.
Thank you for having me here today. I started thinking about what I was going to say to you, and we started our legislative session in January of this past year, and we are still in session. We are now in our third called special session. So for many of us right now, it's getting a little frustrating. We have a wide mix of people that I serve with. And a lot of different opinions, and you can only imagine when you get 150, at least on the House side, 150 politicians in the same room. It's not like you're going to agree on a lot of things. So we're going back right now because we have got to fund transportation, and we're having a debate right now how we're going to do that. What I thought I'd do is I'd go into a little bit of the details of what we did this session. I only have a short time. Casey prepared the presentation, and it normally runs about 20-30 minutes, but we're going to condense it down for you today. And then I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. But let me just focus on the transportation issue, because I think this is important, and I talked with Charlie about this, and I know that the Lake Houston Chamber of Commerce, one of their priorities this session was to make sure that we get funding for transportation. I don't know if anybody knows how we fund transportation right now, but we have the gas tax. 25% of that is dedicated to education. It's about $700 million that goes into education. And there were discussions about, that's being diverted to education. The reality is it's actually in the Constitution. So when the voters voted on that for the gas tax, they voted to say 25% of that would go into education. So that's part of one of the fights about. They were trying to divert the funds and take the funds, all of that money, in the last special session, take all that money, put it into building roads, which we need. But there was no mechanism to replace the money, or no guarantee to replace the education dollars. So we fought off an amendment that would have done that, because I thought it would have been very bad for education, especially what we had done this session for education. So we are in discussions right now with the Senate and the House trying to figure out where it's at. The rainy day fund is the big issue. We're going to pull money off the royalties that are going to come from gas and oil that are coming into the state of Texas. When the rainy day fund was established over 20 years ago, the intention was that there'd be maybe $200 or $300 million in there. If we don't do anything with the rainy day fund, if we continue to let it grow, by the end of this biennium, there'll be $12 billion in there. $12 billion of taxpayers' dollars. And the fight is over, who can be, for lack of a better word, more conservative about how do we protect those resources and how do we protect those dollars. And I think many of us believe that we have to have a floor in the rainy day fund. We think that that's important. We have to figure out how we're going to get those dollars. Transportation needs in the state of Texas are in excess over the next 30 years of $100 billion. We are at almost our capacity for our debt service. We have about $17 billion in debt right now that's out there being funded through the gas tax. So that's how we're paying our debt service. So we have huge dollars are out there. But for those of us that live out in this area, 1960 Westlake Houston Parkway at about 5 o'clock, although we did fix some of those roads, we didn't do everything that we needed to do. That was kind of a second plan of attack. Originally it was going to be an overpass going over, but we figured that it came out that was just too much money, couldn't afford it. We have to widen 1960. That project alone is in excess of $700 million, coming from beyond where the shopping mall is all the way up to the bridge. to the McKay Bridge. So that's a lot of it, and a lot of it has to do with not just the roads, but we have to get the right-of-ways and all the private owners that are out there and get those right-of-ways. So that's going to be, we're going back on Monday, and hopefully, we're going to be able to get that done pretty quickly. So let me just go over the highlights really quick. In the 2013 legislature, 83rd legislative session, we appropriated roughly $197 billion to spend over the next 2 years. Of that, we had $1.4 billion in tax relief. We put $530 million into the TRS fund, that's the Retired Teachers Fund, and provided a cost of living adjustments for our retired teachers. They have not had an adjustment to their cost of living in over 12 years. And so I got a lot of love notes from the retired teachers, which is good. So I appreciate that. But we also spent about $100 million in additional border security. We're still having problems. Obviously, the federal government is not providing virtually any resources to us. And so we are providing our own resources to make sure that we keep up with border security. As general revenue goes, 53%, and there's two different buckets here. We have general revenue, and then we get federal dollars that come in. Most of the federal dollars have some for education, but a lot of federal dollars are coming in for health and human services, for Medicaid and Medicare. But 53% of every dollar on general revenue is spent on education, 31% is spent on health and human services, 9% on public safety, and then to run the entire rest of the state of Texas, we have about 6% of the dollar. So every dollar that comes in. So out of the biennium, I said it's not $196 billion. It's roughly about $98 billion in general revenue that's in that. So the rest is federal dollars that are going in. But make no mistake about this. The state of Texas is a donor state. What we put in, whether to taxes and everything else that goes in, it's about 2 to 1 what we get back. So we are funding the rest of the country relative to how that goes. If you looked at the general population, there's been some comments out there about how much money is going into the general revenue, how much the growth was. Well, if you look at what happened in the last legislative session, we had to cut about $27 billion out of the budget because we just didn't have the money. The revenues weren't there. The big issue was that the comptroller didn't estimate the revenues appropriately. So there really would have been about another $10 or $11 billion in there. And we were short of federal funds of about $12 billion that we had. But if you just take inflation and population and you flatline it over the last 10 years, the growth in our general revenue has only been about 1.6% on the general revenue side compared to inflation and population. Okay? And again, from 2000 to 2010, our population grew by almost 7 million people. We're at 27 million people in the state of Texas right now. In 2000, there were 20 million people. We grew almost by the state of Ohio in a 10-year period of time. It's significant when you think about how big that is. All funds adjusted, it was about a 2.7% growth. So some of the things that we have out there, I want to talk about education because I think there's people in this room that we believe about education, transportation, and then I'll talk about water. Education, we had an increase of $3 billion in general revenue. It was a 7% increase from the last biennium. And we fully funded enrollment growth this session. Again, we didn't have the resources last session to do it, and so we're looking at it and saying, how are we going to deal with that? We put $3.4 billion back into the school fund. So, I don't know, Dr. Sconzo, I think this Humble ISD is going to end up somewhere getting about $27 million over the biennium, in that range. That goes into our community. That's important for us. We also heard loud and clear from people that they wanted education reform. So in high school, we passed HB 5, which fixes testing where we had to take 15 tests. We brought it back down to 5 and created opportunity for not just having, 4 basic core curriculum, but expanding that so we can let people graduate and went into CT training. We thought that was important. I passed a bill, HB 66, which takes into consideration the elementary students for high-performing students so they can test out so we don't have to have all these kids wasting their time taking tests. I passed a bill, HB 462, which prohibits the implementation of the Common Core curriculum. As you've heard out there's about 46 states that have developed a national core curriculum, which I believe is nationalizing our education system. We thought that was wrong in the state. That we believe we can develop our own curriculum here in the state of Texas. We don't need the federal government to tell us how to develop our curriculum, so we passed that. And then we put C-Scope, which was another big political hotbed under the guise of the State Board of Education. We also expanded and put more rules into the charter school system. We think that was important. Let me talk about the last thing because my time is almost up. Water. In our community, water is a huge issue. We have finally, for the first time in 50 years, developed a water plan. It's called HB4. It creates two funds. It's financed through the state water plan so that we as a community can go and actually pull those resources down and have the ability to do water projects in the state of Texas. Never had that happen before, and we've allocated about $2 billion. Here's the catch. The catch is it's called SJR1, and the voters get to vote on that. So you get to decide, do you want to fund water in the state of Texas or not? And again, we were criticized in the legislature because we're spending money. Well, when I was on the school board, I let people decide if they wanted to build their schools, and I let people decide if they wanted to pay for their schools. So what we did, we're giving you, the voters, the opportunity to decide, do you want to have water? Water and roads and education are the three most important things. If you think about a three-legged stool, if you don't have any one of those things, your economy is going to crash. So, with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. We passed a lot more legislation. We did a lot more things. We had over 1,200 bills that we passed. Did a lot of great things this legislative session. I'm proud to continue to serve and appreciate the opportunity that you all give me going up there and representing you. And hopefully I'll be home soon. So, yes, ma'am. Rob.
I do have a question. First, I want to say thank you for the improvement of the marking of the channel on the west part of the sand jack into the lake.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible improvement. The legislation that you're speaking about that's going to go up for vote, does that relate to the increasing capacity of water in Lake Houston specifically?
Yes, sort of.
Yes and no.
We need to build more reservoirs. If you go out to West Texas, they don't have water. You go into Austin, they don't have water. I mean, legitimately do not have water. We are blessed that we have Lake Houston, Lake Livingston, and Lake Conroe. Those are our three bodies of water. City of Houston owns all of Lake Houston. They own about 70% of Livingston, 30 or 40% of Conroe. I think those are the numbers, pretty close. So we're always going to have water. And plus, we're doing the Trinity River project that's going to bring water in. But part of this legislation is to study the 18 reservoirs that exist today and look at their capacity issues. We've lost about 20% of our total capacity in Lake Houston since 1954, since it was built. And the quality of the water has gotten worse. So when you talk to the city of Houston, the amount of money that they're spending on cleaning the water that's coming in because of all the silt. Remember, 2 years ago we passed legislation that dealt with the illegal sand mining operators that were coming in and stripping away the land and contaminating the water supply that we had. So for those people that live on the lakeside of the city of Houston, you've seen your water bills continue to rise. It's a direct result of the cost of having to clean up that water supply. And so that's going to be part of the analysis that's going to be done. And this is one of the fixes that we're going to do. But we believe that one of the things we're going to try and do is try and get about $200 to $300 million for the current reservoirs that are in place to start doing ongoing maintenance and dredging projects. Anything else? No? Real quick, I've got something for my good friend, Dr. Sconzo. Guy, you want to come up here real quick? You know, Guy is been a dear friend of mine when I was on the school board, and has been a great mentor, and he spent a lot of time in Austin with me this session, trying to fix our educational problems and everything else, and really has done it at the benefit of you and as a community, and so I really appreciate everything he's done. This isn't a work for that, though, but this is for Guy had a second grandbaby, I believe that's right, didn't you? In February, and so we've been a little busy, so I haven't had a chance to get this to him, but this was in February 5th. So we honored the birth of his grandson, Benjamin Michael, who was born on February 5th, weighing 7.9 pounds. And so I know he's spending a lot of time babysitting his grandbabies, and so he's doing a great job. So we have an opportunity to do these things for our friends, and so I wanted to give that to him.
Well, I especially want to thank Dan for taking time out because, as he said, they're in their third session, extended session. So I know he's really busy. So I'll address this question to Casey. Will Representative Huberty be doing any town halls after all the sessions are over? Kind of a state of the state type deal.
Yes, we usually do them all, but we will be at the
September 24th at the Chamber office from 4
Okay, September 24th from 4 to 5:30 at the chamber office. So if you have more questions, write them down, and Dan will have more time to answer those questions at that point in time. But thank you all again for your service and all you do. So let's give Dan a hand real quick. I haven't forgotten our third quarter sponsor, the Overlook. They're going to make an announcement at the end, so that's why I was going to hold off on that. But how about the Hometown Chef, the exclusive provider for the Overlook? Thank y'all for providing the food today. Appreciate you. Okay, next on the agenda, Chief Bivens with the Atascocita Fire Department.
And you make it hard for me. I hate to follow some speaker like Mr. Huberty. Dan and I worked last week on our grand opening for our new admin building in the Atascocita Fire Department. And basically that's what I'm going to talk about today, just where we are, what we're going, and what we're going to look for in the future for the fire service for this community. Currently we have 3 fire stations. There's 3 stations, we have 3 engine companies, a ladder truck, 4 medic units, a brush truck, 5 chief's cars, a squad truck, and a rehab truck. We have our AM bus. I think y'all have already seen that on a few occasions for deployment. We have approximately 48 members, paid staff with the fire department. You think of us as Atascocita Volunteer Fire Service, but we are a combination department now. 48 members, and 18 of these are full-time personnel. The rest of the members are all part-time. We have 80 volunteers in the fire service, and this makes up our fire service as far as both medical and firefighters and our rehab personnel. We have a very good rehab program as far as the personnel assigned to it. They're all volunteers. They pull our trucks. They help anybody in need. In fact, here recently we've had a few situations involving the sheriff's department and the police departments out in the community as far as robberies, and rehab trucks have been contacted to be sent out there to help and assist whether they can get out of AC on the scene, where they can get in and out of the climate, where they can actually sit down and have something to drink, something to eat. Anyway, the law enforcement seen an extra benefit for our service in this community. I think yesterday we had a robbery in progress, and they contacted us again for that. Like I said, we're here to serve and help the community. We recently took delivery of our new admin headquarters. We moved all of our staff, our administration staff, from Station 1 in the Walden subdivision over to our new admin building, which is appropriately named the N.W. Smith Training Facility over on Timber Forest near Atascocita Road. We're right across the street from Timberwood Middle School. Love to have y'all over there at any time. Mr. Hubie, I think, was pretty well impressed the other day with what we have and what we have to offer the community in service in the future. Our new training facility is where we keep all our medical supplies down, all the medical equipment. If a medic unit, whether it be out of Station 1, 2, or 3, runs short on supplies, they will come over there, get whatever equipment or drugs they need, and leave and be ready to respond to the next call. We also have a very large training facility set up in the back where we can seat over 100 students now. So it's a very user-friendly product. We have a lot of different community meetings that have been taking place at the fire stations. We have different mud associations come in, the homeowners associations, Boy Scouts. We have just a very tremendous amount of outside activities other than fire service that goes on at the stations. We're moving everything from the fire stations over to our admin building. We have a very good room in there set up for them where they have all the equipment needed to show any kind of slide presentation or any kind of videos, and it's really going to be used for the community from this point forward in the future. We'll just have to get everything moved from the fire stations over to the admin building now. We are in the process at this time to replace some of our equipment. I just got back in last night from Florida for our final inspection for some of the new equipment we just on our final inspection, we just got through approving a ladder truck, a tower. It's a tower truck, 100-foot tower that's going to be serviced in this community, along with an engine. Our engine is going to be a 2,000-gallon minute pumper from E1, and it's a beautiful piece of equipment. It should be on the road to our community either, well, I was told either tomorrow or by Monday, so we should be receiving this next week. Our ladder truck, we had a few little quirks with that, and they're getting that repaired as I speak, and that should be on the road mid-part of next week. And this type of equipment, this is something that's going to be here for the years to come. In the future, what some of our aspects are is the next big step is once we get the trucks in, is to take a deep breath and look at Station 1. This was the entrance into Walden, a very nice area, but our fire station was built in 1978, a metal-clad building, and we're fixing to redo that. It's our next big project on the chopping block. We're going to have that leveled and have a new, modern two-story fire station put in over there, and they will be running a ladder truck out of there or our tower truck, a new one, an engine company, and a medic unit. That's also where we house our 1928 American or France pumper. We use that for PR events. I think anyone that lives over the Pinehurst subdivision or in Eagle Springs has seen it on many of the events whenever they have a neighborhood program. Then we're looking for the future expansion of the department. Our next fire station, we're looking at property over toward Eagle Springs for growth. Currently, we have an ISO rating in this area of a 3. When I first got involved with the fire department, shame to say, but our ISO rating in this community was 6/9. And that was a tremendous amount we paid for taxes. Through a lot of efforts, through a lot of training, through education, through all the equipment we have, manning the fire trucks and keeping people available and ready for call at any time, it's the reason we're down to a 3 now. And we're going to maintain that. And this is a tremendous savings on anyone that lives in this area as far as the insurance rating goes. At this time, I was asked to kind of keep it short too. Is there any questions at all as far as where we are in the fire service now or where we are planning to go? Not. Thank you all very much.
Chief, thanks for coming out. They play a very vital role in the protection of our community, and we're glad to have a community partner like the Atascocita Fire Department, so thank you very much. Next, Fellowship of the Woodlands, I guess this would be their East Campus, has been meeting here in this building for quite some time, and they're building a new campus here in Atascocita. Pastor Cameron Whitley is going to come up and give us a little idea of what's going on at Fellowship of the Woodlands.
I don't do very well behind podiums, so I'll try to stay still. We are a satellite campus of Fellowship of the Woodlands, and when we launched our campus out here in Atascocita, we had a branding change, and so it's kind of hard to be a church 15 years in, changing the brand, and so changing your name along with that is influence and what people recognize. And so our church is Woodlands Church, and in our campus here in Atascocita, don't know if that, there we go. We launched in September of 2007. So some of you have heard that we have a campus here that meets at the high school, and you think, man, that is crazy, right? Some of the faculty that work at Atascocita, a lot of students that attend here Monday through Friday also come to Woodlands Church. It's a really unique opportunity that God opened a door here at Atascocita High School. And as you can see a couple of things, when we launched, we were the first church to be able to meet in an Humble ISD high school. And so, the Lord opened a door, and Dr. Sconzo, we thank you for that. I don't know if he reciprocates that thank you, but no, we do. It's been good, and it's been really cool to see the partnership that we've been able to develop with the faculty here at Atascocita High School, also even at some of the other schools surrounding here. That we've been able to do some lunches on some faculty days. We come in and feed the staff. We come and do ice cream. Just some things that, even though we're adults, we enjoy little things like ice cream and some fun things like that. And so we enjoy being able to serve the community, not just in a spiritual sense, and not just being able to do what God has called our church to do in this community, but also in a practical sense. And so there's a lot of practical things that we do as a church that we strive to accomplish, and not just an overarching, yes, come hear the Bible be taught. But what does that mean in our real everyday lives as Christ calls us to serve in our community? And we were the first multi-site campus for Woodlands Church. And so it was kind of a lot of new things. My wife and I, we came on staff here in 2008, January 2008. So we've been here over 5.5 years serving at this campus. And so we've lived here in this community for 5.5 years. We've had our first home that we've ever owned here in this community. We have 2 little boys that were born here, and that we enjoy being a part of this. We've enjoyed seeing 5.5 years worth of labor be put in to ministry here in this community. And it's crazy. If you think about it, maybe you see a lot of church signs. You see a lot of churches, and it's like, man, do we really need another church? If everybody in the community woke up and said, you know what, on a Sunday or a Saturday night, hey, let's go to church. You know that it would not even be close. We don't have near the amount of space in church for our community. And so how cool is it that God continues to use schools, community space, shopping center space to use and meet needs, not just, again, spiritually, but practical needs for our community. We've grown since September 2000, about 1,200 to about 1,900 in attendance every week here at the high school. And it's been a process where we know God is leading us to have a space that we can continue to see needs being met. And so that's why we're pursuing a new facility. And some of you have already seen that, and you're kind of wondering what's going on right there behind McDonald's. The Time-Wise McDonald's, that's our property. And so I want to show you guys a couple of things. This is we meet in the gym. So this is what a weekend service looks like. This is our Christmas Eve service last year. So we don't typically have Christmas trees up every week. Some of you are like, wow, that's creative. But no, we transformed the school into an adult service, children's ministry, preschool ministry, and then we have a student ministry building that some of you have seen, what used to be Rock, Wine, and Blues, behind the now recently resurrected Iguana Joe's. And that's where we have our student ministry, which is 6th through 12th grade. And so this is our future campus, and it's going to be a very practical thing. It's not a gigantic facility. We're not looking to have a 2,000-seat auditorium. We're looking for ways for people to come in to realize they're with other people in their community, but it's not an overwhelming presence to get connected or to feel connected to our church. And so a couple of specs about the new facility is on the next slide. It's 11.4 acres. The total facility would be just under 40,000 square feet. Our goal is about 750 to 800 seats in the auditorium. And we can flex to about 1,000 when it comes to Easter, Christmas Eve. We do Small World, which is birth through pre-K, children's ministry, and the student ministry meets the needs of our families. And it's a really cool opportunity, even here in the high school, as people come in who are first-time guests. They've moved to the community. They're trying to figure out a way to get connected. and not just to a church, but as we all know, we want to have relationships. We want to be connected. And so a primary way for the community to feel connected to the community is through the medium of the church. And so we take it as a great privilege to serve the community by allowing our church to be a medium for other people to gain relationships with other people. And so we obviously have a different goal than maybe a business in that connection, but it's still the same desire that we have to see those relationships being built. And so the opportunities that open up for us by having this new facility, it's going to give us a home base. We use our student ministry building as our home base in a sense. That's where we office. That's where we do midweek Bible studies. That's where our student ministry meets. But this is going to give us a home base for a lot of other methods that we like to be involved in the community. Every single year, this past summer, actually on Monday, we dropped off another round. We fed 22 families from an HISD elementary school for the summer. And so we took care of their entire meals for the whole summer because their children were on reduced or free meals, the meal plan. And so when school is not meeting, then they don't have food. And so our church, our campus came together, and we took care of 22 families, and we fed them this entire summer. We'll have school supplies drives. We'll do all kinds of different ways to serve the community. But it's a great way for our community to see that, hey, it's not just going to come through outside organizations, but people within our community are the ones that are allowing this service to happen. And so it's not the church. We have 4 full-time staff and 2 part-time staff at our campus. So our church is not bent around, we have staff doing everything. As you saw, we have 230-plus volunteers every week that allow what we do to be possible. And so that's a little bit about who we are. And I'm going to ask questions because the time thing is being waved back and forth. So, but thank you guys. That's Willen's Church.
All right. Next, we have Pastor Phil Harrington with Atascocita Community Church talk about their Kids Connect program.
Atascocita Community Church, we purchased 41 acres several years ago. We have a campus just south of the school here before you cross the bridge. We set off. We have 41 acres, and we began to look with the idea of what can we do. Yes, we are a spiritual organization seeking to introduce people to a relationship with God. And a part of that process, we want to be able to connect with people on an emotional, a physical, and a spiritual way. And to be able to minister to the whole person, be involved in the community. I was sitting here listening to all the speakers that preceded me. And I don't know about you, but I've been in Atascocita for 16 years now. And as I was listening to the different leaders and the different influencers speak, for me, it was a feeling of pride welling up of what we have happening in our community. And we're having it happen because people care about our community and investing. So I think it's a privilege to be able to stand with those individuals and just talk about a small part of what we're doing. When we bought the 41 acres, we wanted to be able to use it in our community and for our community. And we've looked for various ways. We have a community performing arts center that meets on our campus. We partner with Summer Creek and Atascocita High School in sponsoring their trap shooting teams. And as our risk manager for insurance came to me, he said, "Can I ask you a question? In one sentence, you're naming church, guns, and schools. How does that work?" And so far, it's been very safe. But trap shooting has become a strong entity in competition among high schools throughout Texas, and it is growing rapidly in their ag departments. And so our campus hosts that. So if you're ever on the campus and you hear some gunshots coming from that way, it'll be the high school kids shooting skeet. And they're involved in that. Our fire departments come out and used it as a team building event, and it is there for community events. So I just offer that to you if you have an organization that wants to do team building through that. Our campus is there, and it's all set up. I don't know anything about skeet shooting, but I'll tell you it's there, and if you know, you can do it, and we have folks that know how. I just watch them. Let me tell you about Kids Connect, though, something that's new that we got into last year. And let me tell you with a story. There's a story last December. I was at a little party at one of the local elementary schools. And as I was at the party, there were 14 students, elementary students, and 14 adults there called mentors, some teachers. And as I was there watching the party and kind of observing, the school counselor came over. And she said, Phil, I just want to thank you for what your church is doing. And I want to ask you, would you please not stop, but keep doing it? I said, okay. And then her eyes got watery and began to tear up. And she said, you see that young man sitting across the room? I said, yes. And for privacy's sake, I'll give him a fake name. His name is Corey. I said, yeah. She said, well, let me tell you. For 5 years, Corey's been at this school. He's a child with an attitude. He came to this school with an attitude. He struggles in his academics. His attendance is sparse. His behavior is all across the chart. And he's such a bitter, angry young man. I can't get him to communicate. For 5 years, I've invested hours into Corey. And in 8 weeks, because of Kids Connect, look at that little boy. He's talking to his mentor. He's engaging with his... I said, he's talking. She said, what do you see? And I said, well, he's talking to Rick, the mentor. And she said, yeah, that's right. I said, well, what's the big deal about that? And she said, he has said more in the last 30 minutes in this party than he has said in 5 years in my office. And with her eyes watering, she said, please, don't stop what you're doing. Now, it got into this because I was told that we have at-risk children in our school district. And I said, in an upper middle class school district, at-risk kids? Come on. And then we began to do the research and began to discover that they are at-risk kids. And so let me tell you, Kids Connect has a mission statement that says, one child, one mentor, 1 hour at a time. And so we have mentors that go into the school 1 hour each week, and they'll do it during the school time, during the school season. And they're meeting with these kids, meeting with children. And the impact is this. This is what the findings are, and this is why the school counselor said, please, keep coming back. Don't stop. And she said, it has impacted their attitude, their behavior, their academics, and their attendance. They're asking us now. Another school has come and said, can you guys do that for us? And we're trying to get the numbers together and get the people together with our program to be able to do it. It's just one adult with one child, 1 hour a week. And it's making a difference. And at the end of the year, they evaluate the mentors and the students. And they've asked every mentor, come back for those students. But we need more mentors. And we've seen an incredible program. We provided baskets during the Christmas time. Our church did. And we bought games, not electronic games. Now, I see people out here that are old enough to know what board games are, right? We bought board games, and we bought things that would create opportunity for family interaction and engagement with the children. So as a church, we're on the other side, helping promote family togetherness. And I'm going to leave you with this. You know what the two most common questions a child asks their mentor? Two most common questions. Almost every single child asks every mentor. Number one, will you come back to see me? Are you coming back? And the second question is, how many other kids do you come to see on the campus? And every mentor answers, yes, I'm coming back, and you're the only child. And when that child hears that they're the only one, they look. And every mentor has reported this, and all the teachers have said. They said, you mean you come just for me? So we're able to affect and touch a life of children. And I'm excited that we're able to work with the school district and work with our community And I look forward to what we're doing, and thank you for your influence of what you're doing in the community. You know, as Cameron was talking about the different churches, everybody, there's a 31 flavor basket in Robbins, right? There's just different flavors for different people. Thank you, guys.
Man, what a great community we have. We have a representative from the Atascocita High School All Sports Booster Club. Is that correct? Come on up. I apologize. I didn't have your name. Mr. Daniels didn't know who was coming, so I wasn't able to introduce you properly. So.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for inviting the Atascocita All Sports Booster Club to this event. My name is Tammy Montgomery. I am a proud parent to represent the All Sports Booster Club. We represent all 19 sports here on campus, boys and girls, and that's about 1,000 athletes. We have a family membership of about 400 parents. And one of my goals, this will be my third year doing the president of this great organization. One of my goals is to definitely get parent involvement. We've improved our parent membership, at least 100 members every year, and also to get community involvement as well. Excuse me. I put on the table one of our programs. It's several programs on each table, and I have more if you'd like to take one with you. This is our All Sports Booster Club program, where we offer opportunities to become sponsors, to let the parents know who our sponsors are for our athletes. It's sold at every home football game. If you look in it, it has our mission statement in it, our committee members, our board members, everything that we do. We raise over $100,000, and 100% of that money goes back to the operation of that club. This year, we gave back to our athletic department over $60,000. So pretty much whatever our coaches need and what the athletes need to enhance our athletic program, we are here to provide for them. We have several fundraising opportunities that we do. If you have an Eagle card, thank you very much for your support. Those are huge. We sell about 3,000 to 4,000 of those. We ask our athletes to sell them. They'll come out in October if you're waiting, because I know they recently expired. But that's about 20 companies that offer a discount. And those parents love that Eagle card. I have emails now wondering, okay, mine have expired. I need my Tutti Frutti. So they're waiting for it to come out. So there's lots of opportunities there. Excuse me. Like I said, we have our fall programs, which are sold for only $5 at our football games. It has the football team in there, the mugshot, the positions that they play, the opposing team. So we do pretty good with that. The last couple of years, we've had one company that gives away $50 gas cards if you have the winning program. So a lot of things that we do is pretty much is an ongoing thing for the Athletic Booster Club, and the parents look forward. Everyone look forward. We have an awesome website where you can get lots of information on how you can be a part of the Booster Club. We let parents, we want parents involved. We want the local community involved. And when the parents know that the local community is involved, that promotes a lot of business for our companies. So if you have any questions, feel free to just email me. My information is on the website. And thanks again for inviting me.
A quick question, with football season almost upon us, what is the deadline to go into the program?
Oh, I'm sorry. I do have some handouts as well. If you're wanting to be in our program, the deadline for artwork submission is August, I believe the 16th is where you can get a 20% discount if you have your artwork and payment by that date. But the absolute deadline, because our first home game, I think is the 30th, it would be the 23rd. If you purchase a full-page ad, black or white or color, and the covers, we can provide our AHS athletes in uniform at your facility. We provide photographer, and everything. So that all of this information I have for you, and it's also found on our website.
Is there two separate periodicals though? Because this is all for all boosters, but doesn't the football have its own program for every game?
The football team does have a program at every game,
Right.
but it's still a part of the all sports athletic
But it's a
booster club.
separate. But is it a separate advertisement program?
No, sir. It's one program because we also display all of our fall sports in that particular program as well. And we also do what we call our yearbook where all of our teams are featured in there with our sponsors and our proud parent ads as well in the spring.
A lot of bang for your buck. I'll just throw in a plug for them. The Turner Stadium holds close to 12,000 people, and our 5A high schools have a pretty large crowd every Friday, Saturday night. And so, think about it. Pick up some information if you'd like to help out the school here in our community. So thank you for being here. One more speaker, and he will be brief. I know him. My colleague on the school board, but also with Memorial Hermann Hospital, Mr. Heath Rushing.
I don't think it's fair for Robert to ask anyone to be brief, ever. By a show of hands, how many of you at least know about the Lake Houston 10K, 5K? All right, good. How many of you know when it is? The date? All right, for those that didn't raise your hand, the date is Saturday, August 24th at 7 a.m. So make sure you have that down. I'm just going to talk briefly about, first why we do this event anyway in this community, and then break down some of the statistics and let you know kind of what the opportunities are for your business to get involved with the race. First of all, as you guys know, our chamber, as well as the 32-member board, have been working hard to really establish Lake Houston as an area of destination to improve the quality of life in this area. That's evident by the resources being put towards the extensive economic development plan, etc. One of the items that's come from that was the development of the Lake Houston 10K, 5K project team, in order to create an event that would do two things. One, promote a healthy lifestyle for our businesses and our community. And then two, be something that attracts people from across the Houston area, as well as the state of Texas, to our area to experience what we have to offer here in the Lake Houston area. And so I think that we've been off to a great start over the first 3 years. We're entering into the fourth year of our race. Last year's event was record numbers. We had more than 800 participants. This year we're expecting over 1,000. And so something that we're really excited for, to have that increased participation this year. The prizes are good and strong to get runners to come to this race. In the 10K race, the top female and top male athlete both get a $500 monetary award. And in the 5K race, the top male and female both get a $250 monetary award. So some good prizes. A lot of attractions also at the event. Memorial Hermann Life Flight is always there. Atascocita Volunteer Fire Department will be bringing out their mass casualty ambulance bus. So if you haven't had the chance to see that, it's quite impressive. So please take the opportunity, and several other events that will be going on for kids. I'll end by recognizing the sponsors for this year so far. Presenting sponsor, Memorial Hermann Northeast. Gold sponsor, Texas Emergency Care Center. Silver sponsors, Berkeley Eye Center, Health South Rehabilitation Hospital, and Humble and Waste Connections of Texas, which is our newest sponsor so far this year. So if you're looking for an opportunity for further involvement or exposure for your company, please think of the Lake Houston 10K, 5K as that opportunity to either sponsor or volunteer. Contact myself, Dr. Kyle Buchan, or Stephanie for any further information. So again, Saturday, August 24th at 7 a.m. Thank you.
Okay, we've added 3 things at the bottom of the agenda. We've got 3 special announcements, and I'm going to let, since Heath is already up here, I'm going to let him make his announcement, and then I'll ask Jerry to come up, and we'll finish with Kevin.
All right, just briefly, A lot of you have seen the information that we've been spreading around about the new cancer center that Memorial Hermann Northeast reopened and the grand reopening of that occurred. In addition to the cancer service line, another service line that we've been investing resources in is the orthopedic service line. And in February of this year, 2013, we established a relationship with UT Orthopedics that is bringing out resources from the University of Texas Health Science Center in Houston, relocating them out to the Lake Houston area at Northeast Hospital full-time. We have 2 physicians and are now introducing a third to the community that's really going to allow us to offer continued services that have not been offered in this community before. And so I just wanted to briefly introduce, as you came in, there was some information about Dr. Garadia. But Dr. Garadia is here, so I'd like for him just to stand up briefly, if you would. He's the newest member of the team. Today's his first day, actually. He's spending today and tomorrow in the community, and then next week training on information systems, etc. And then he'll be out at Northeast full-time on August 12th. So be looking forward for Dr. Garati to be out in the community. We'll actually have him come and speak to some of the new services and different type of orthopedic and sports medicine related initiatives that we'll have started in this community that will benefit each and every one of you. So thank you for that. Thanks.
Now Jerry Levy with the gym. Big things coming.
Big things are coming in the gym. Some of you may not know what the gym is. The gym is the basketball and volleyball facility on Atascocita Road right across from Lindsay Lyons Park. We've been in existence 8 years now. I can't hardly believe it. But a lot of things going on at the gym. It's a very, very busy place if you ever drive by there in the evenings or in the daytime. We have approximately 1,200 kids per week come through the gym and their families. Primarily youth-oriented at the gym. We do have a small adult basketball league that plays there. It is recognized as the top place in the city of Houston area for basketball. There are roughly, at our latest count, about 12 players in the NBA who have played in the gym at one time or another. So we're very proud of a lot of things that are going on at the gym. And I just wanted to announce something that's going out into the press. The first ever small college basketball tournament will be held at the gym November 1st and 2nd. We will have 6 teams coming in from around the country. 5 of those teams were rated at one time or another in the top 15 in the country last year. A team from Virginia, a team from Missouri, Oklahoma, a team from Louisiana, a team from San Antonio, and of course our hometown NAI D1 school, St. Thomas, is helping co-host the event with us. There are some packets out here. We have a letter announcing it. We, like everyone else, are looking for some sponsors to help with the thing. We want to build this event into a premier event. I think we're off to a good start with the schools that we've got playing in it this year. But we certainly need some sponsors to help with that event and to build it. And our plan is to make it even bigger and better in the future. Thank you again. Come by the gym sometime if you haven't seen a first-rate basketball and volleyball facility. Thanks again.
Well, and last but certainly not least, the third quarter sponsor of the Overlook, Mr. Kevin Kilgore, has some special things going on. So come on up, Kevin.
Thank you. And Trish has already told me 2 minutes, no more than 2 minutes. But just wanted to give you all an update. The Overlook is finally finished. We're still doing the last blue tape, fit and finish little things. We had all of the, as I call them, the founders of the golf course who, you know, if you don't know the story, I put a piece on your places that there's a front page article from the Tribune that came out Wednesday. We had the founders out in a private open house last Sunday and had, gosh, y'all, what was it, 320 plus. that came out, and we premiered the last big grand ballroom, Kennedy's Crystal Ballroom, and they were the first ones to get to see it. And we were very proud to make a special announcement, and that is that golf will be returning to Atascocita. This is a very historic property. It's a very historic course dating back to the early 50s. 12 of the 27 holes are actually from the original 1950 course. But for those of y'all that don't know it, this used to be the University of Houston's home course, and all the greats, Crenshaw, Tom Kite, Andy North, Mike Rainey and I looked at the Insperity Seniors Open this year in the Woodlands, and there were over 22 competitors in the Senior Open up there that were part of the University of Houston golf team. So we are going to restore it. I've entered into a partnership, not a legal partnership, but I've leased all 27 holes. We've passed up several large groups, and I did not want to go that route that were big golf machines, if you will. It's kind of what caused the Pinehurst-Atascocita area the problem in the first place. So a gentleman named Jack Day out of Conroe, who's been in the business for 28 years, I've been talking with him for almost 6 months, and we did put it together. And they'll be starting this month with an initial investment of about $1 million. We've got some real digging to do to see how this irrigation system is going to perform. And from there, all the bids are secured in to get the restoration started. Golf was never in my business model. I came into the ownership as a steward of the land to keep this from being developed, and it needed to be protected. So the lease price, you'll see in here, Jack paid me his first year lease, and it was a whopping $1, and that's his lease price per year. So aside from that, Overlook, we're proud to say that we're really trying to rebrand and help rejuvenate the Atascocita Pinehurst area with the events that we have booked over the next 12 months, right at 107 special events already booked in the next year. And we'll be having 16,000 visitors coming into the Pinehurst area. So Houston Weddings Magazine voted us the other day Bride's Choice for 2013. So we thank y'all for all support. We're doing a ton of corporate setting, a ton of corporate meetings, from 5 people to 500 people. If y'all need something, just let us know. Thanks a lot.
Kevin, do y'all have a target date of opening the course?
Yeah, we think we can have the first 9 possibly by the fall, second 9 by early spring, third 9 by late spring.
Semi-private, daily fee and
yeah.
membership?
It's somewhat of a boutique golf, if you will. We'll be sending out interest forms. We already sent one out to an email list of only 500. We got 260 pledges for membership in 14 days. The nice thing about it is if anybody will just send in that interest form, first year single membership is going to be $175. No initiation fee. Members have bag storage on site. Golf carts will be valet. We'll meet you at the car to load you up and get you ready. We're also not going to charge a trail fee. All of the folks in this community that have golf carts, we're going to let them use them. We're just going to limit 2 per foursome, but there won't even be a trail fee. Jack Day is a very grounded Christian, a good family person that's been in the business for 28 years. We've set some goals for him that they have to reach to get where we are today, which was signing the lease on Sunday. So we're excited.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Just a few closing remarks. I tell you, when these things started, these BizComs, had no idea where they were going to end up, but I want to thank the vision of Charlie Dromgoole with the Chamber and his staff, and Dr. Sconzo and his staff on putting these things together and allowing us to do this on a monthly basis, rotating throughout all of our high schools. Our goal this year, those of you that are on my advisory committee, would you stand up? Thank y'all for being here. They're the ones that helped put this agenda together today, and anyone that's interested in helping us plan future meetings, let us know. but we already have the calendar set up going forward. And our push this next year is to really get the community involved, the booster clubs, the student associations, getting them involved, getting more of the churches involved, and really make an impact in the communities that each of these high schools serve. And thank you all for being a part of the ground floor the first year of doing these here at Atascocita High School. We really appreciate it. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Artistic Stitches. Thank you once again. Our third quarter sponsor, The Overlook. Our food, the Hometown Chef. If you don't know about the Hometown Chef, they are the exclusive provider for The Overlook, but they also do private functions at your home and so forth. Is that correct? Yeah. All right, so perfect. Thank you very much. If you look on the back of your agenda, there's a list of upcoming events. Our next BizCom here will be in November. And outside of that, we ran a little bit over, but I appreciate your attention, and thank you to all the speakers that came in and donated your time.